What's up, guys? Today is October 23rd, 2012. I'm about 32 weeks on T. I'm just making this video to, I guess, share a story that I found kind of interesting. So I went to pick up my testosterone prescription, and the place that I go is called Mount Carmel Clinic, and they do a lot of different services for people. But on Thursdays, they have their teen clinic. So I figured while I was there, because I needed to pick up tea, so while I was picking up that, I figured I might as well get an STI test while I was there, might as well. That's kind of the weirdest thing to do while you're somewhere else. Just, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go for fun and get an STI test. But I decided to do that. So it was really funny because the person who was talking to me for the teen clinic thing, um, I don't know. She's not someone who I've normally seen at Mount Carmel, and I go there a lot, but I've never seen her before, and she'd never seen me. So it was really interesting, because she was looking at my file, and I could see she had this really, confused look on her face. So, I told her as she was reading, I'm like, oh, by the way, I'm transgender, which is why my file looks kind of weird, because, it says, sex on the top, and that's not legally changed yet. So it looks funny. So she was like, "Oh no, I was just trying to read the signature here." I was like, "Yeah, okay." But she's like, "Oh, so you are male wanting to be female?" And I was like, no, other way around." And she gives me this look, and she's like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "I thought you were a man." I'm like, "I am a man." She's like, "No, no, no, you know what I mean." I was like, "Yeah, yeah." It was just really funny, though, because that's never happened before, and I was amused, and I don't know. I ended up talking to this lady about, I guess, trans stuff, and it happened to be that someone that she knew is someone who I just happened to message on Tumblr earlier that day. So it was kind of weird that she knew them, and I had just met them that day, sort of, on the internet, which isn't really meeting them. But anyway, it was fun, I guess. I got my STI test. Didn't get the results yet, even though it's been a while, but I'm not too scared. So, I don't know. They can take their time. Another thing I definitely want to talk about is family stuff, because it's always fun with family. Not. This time, my family is kind of amusing me, per se. Not amusing to the point where it's laughable, but to me it's laughable, just because they're doing their thing. For the longest time, to give you some background on my family, for the longest time, okay, I've been out for about 2 years to them. It's been a lot longer than 2 years, or it's been a bit longer than 2 years, like a couple months. But anyway, let's just say 2 years. So they've known about this for 2 years. I've been on T for about 7.5 months. And there was this huge, ever since I came out, there was this huge thing about not wanting to tell my grandfather, because he has Parkinson's and he worries a lot, and they thought it would be really bad for his health if I just gave him something else to worry about, and a whole bunch of other stuff like that. So I said, okay, fine, don't tell him. Okay, don't tell him, that's cool. I'll just look like really butch. I don't know. Go figure. But that was always their excuse for why they couldn't use my preferred name or preferred pronouns. They'd be like, "Oh, well, your grandfather's here. We can't do that. We can't. He'll find out." No. So they would never do that. And even in instances where he would be either in a different room or in a different location, even, they would still use that as an excuse, just in case. So, that was always their excuse. So that's what I've lived with for the past 2 years. Now, being on T, they continue to do that until just recently. I was at their house on Thursday, and, my family is really weird. They finally told my grandfather, I don't know, it's probably like a month ago. But, suddenly, now that he knows, they're totally changing their tune. Like, they're still not using the right pronouns, but they're using the right name most of the time, or a right name most of the time, which is good. But they've totally changed their tune. Like, apparently my grandmother still says that she has friends that she hasn't told. First of all, it's none of their business, so don't tell them at all, period. Okay, thanks. But, she was talking to one of them on the phone when I walked in, and, this just demonstrated to me how much they've changed their tune since, because ever since I came out, it's been, you're making the wrong decision, you're going to regret this in the future, we love you, but you're doing this wrong and you should stop. So it's not really much love, in my opinion. Because if you love someone, you don't try to change them, and you don't try to pressure them into doing what you want, and you don't be mean, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I could go on forever. But she was talking to one of her friends on the phone, and the friend said something like, or she said something like, Paz just walked in. Something like that. So I remember there's something I had to say, so it was probably something like, how are you, or something like anything. But her friend on the phone, I guess she didn't realize that she was on speaker, but this friend knows and goes, oh my god, listen to that voice, it's so low. And I'm like, yeah, thanks. And my grandma's like, yeah, I can never tell if it's them or their brother when they call. I'm like, yeah, good. But, suddenly, this changed to them saying, well, I guess if this is what makes wrong pronoun happy, then, blah, blah, blah. And they started talking in that way. Never once in my 2 years coming out have they ever said that they wanted me to do what makes me happy. Never. They said they want me to do what's best for me, which is not transition. Which is completely false, because I don't think it takes a rocket scientist or a psychologist or even an educated person to see how much happier I am. Like, people always talk to me, and I'll be saying, like, yeah, this bad thing happened, this bad thing happened, this bad thing happened, and they'll be like, why are you so optimistic? And I'm just like, because life is good, and life is always good, and, well, not always good, but life is good right now, and I'm great, and they get confused, and they're like, dude, there's something wrong with you, clearly, because you're too happy. So, I don't know, it really, now that he knows, they're suddenly changing their tune. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I am totally happy that they're doing this, but it's really laughable. I find it laughable. So, for all of you out there whose parents don't accept them, grandparents don't accept them, just get the person least likely to accept them, or just get the person least likely to accept you to somehow endorse you, and you'll be good to go. I should have done that sooner. But yeah, good stuff. Until next week, peace.